We are live. We are live. Hey everyone. Today another live stream with a studio that is so creative to extent that you never really heard of. We have Juan, and Juan is living in Colombia, I think, right? And he is running Metrica visuals. They are really creative. They do really amazing stuff. I would definitely check. I would definitely like really propose that you visit their website, see their work. They are really great, amazing. Fabio also with us today. He is running this meeting with me, and we are excited to see the background, the story behind Metrica and Juan, who is one of the guys who really does not really want, does not really like to be under the radar, or maybe above the radar, or maybe on the spot. Juan,
Yeah,
welcome. Thank you very much. And
thank you.
Fabio, welcome. Thank you for your time. Juan, please
No,
introduce yourself a little bit to the audience. Tell us a little bit about you, how you started
Thank you,
Metrica.
Anis, for hosting.
yeah, thank you guys for having me. I think this is a weirdest moment for for me. I don't know. We have been talking about this kind of meetings, and it's really important now. As I grow, as my team grow, every day it turns even more important to be in these kind of situations. It forces myself to change the mindset of what we have been doing so far. So yeah, as you said, I'm a designer, industrial designer from Colombia and from Bogota, and I've been working in the field for right now. Metric is about our 10th year this year, and 10 years before that, I worked in the architectural field as a designer. So I've
Mhm.
been working in 3D and architecture at the time for so long now. It's kind of a long time. And yeah, since 2015, I decided to quit my architectural job and move on in what my passion and what I love, that is creative and doing some cool stuff in CGIs for design.
Perfect, perfect. Really, thank you. We have already a comment for Fabio. Fabio, you must say, buenos tardes to
I
me.
didn't live in.
Where I can see the chat is here.
Yeah, you can see it on the right side. There is something
No, no,
called.
no. This is a.
Oh,
Oh,
this
it's
is.
here. Buenas tardes, it's here. Yeah, buenas tardes.
What does it mean?
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Oh, good afternoon.
Good
Okay.
evening. Good afternoon.
Wellington. Okay, so yeah, it's have been
So,
a quite a journey, you know.
I would love to hear how you started the company, Metrica. And also, please, at the end, tell us why you chose this name.
Uh, I started what Metrica is with a question. I think is part of the journey. You know, the question is why not? Why not to quit the old job, a project when used to work in construction, design, and managing some projects, and follow what I love to do. That is be more in the design and communications and creative field. So at that moment, I quit. I started working as a freelancer. I had the opportunity to collaborate with some studios here in Colombia to understand, at least understand what is working in CGIs and visualization. And luckily, I call it somehow commercial luck, or I was in the right place at the right time. Um when start working in some new era of design, you know, new designers, new architects that bring some new ideas and they're trying to implement the visualization in their workflow. So I was in that place, you know, I was in the right place trying to collaborate with them as a freelancer, working with different studios here, but also I have a chance to work in US in the early stages of my career. So that allowed me to understand how different is the market, how different are their expectations, how
Where in
different.
the US?
In Florida, in Miami. I used to work with some interior design for luxury projects there, so completely different approach than here in Colombia. So I think the those early days, I was completely focused in train myself and get better in my skills, get better in my quality and my artistic approach to bring that knowledge that I learned outside to bring to the Colombian market. So somehow that was a trigger for some of these new designers that they trust in what I'm trying to build, and somehow it was they bring some cool projects and find different ways to communicate them and portray them. So I think that's a huge advance. And also, I think my training as a designer in construction and in the architectural field allowed me also to speak their language. Working with architects, you need to know how to speak with them. Working with designers, with interior designers, you need to know about brands, about finishes, about how build the stuff in the right way. And but that immediately changed as I grow in the business because I got involved in more teams where there are not only designers, maybe a marketing team, maybe a sales team. So I start talking with developers, investors, and that changed completely the language. So I think the path has been a constant learning, not only training in the artistic skills, but also how to manage the project, how to build relations, how to understand the different aspects of a project, and understand how different are the projects between, it's completely different working with designers, working with architects, working with developers, or working with creatives. It's a completely different approach, and it's not enough to be good in doing images. You need to be good in communication, in understanding, and be creative. I think be a problem solver, I guess, is what defines us. So yeah,
One,
it's kind
but
of
let me. I want to understand a little bit better. When did you decide then to make the transition and to say, okay, you know what? I think I can make a living just by making images because like sometimes it's a little bit of a conflict, right? You say,
yeah.
I've been working as a designer and I do that, and now I'm making images.
Somehow, what I fall in love at the moment was the wow moment, with the clients. Construction sites, managing vendors or contractors or technical stuff. I love it because I'm a really technical guy. I love the process. I love to be in the field. But somehow the wow moment, be that impression in your client when you show the idea, all the proposal, and then the project already built, and try to compare that connection for me was uh, that one of the that moments. And also being in construction and being in that field, you depend of a lot of people. You depend of the millwork, electricians, and all the stuff. And somehow I run away of that. I want to be in control all the process in my hands and try to manage the projects by my own. Not dependent of anybody. 10 years after we are a team, we depend each other in the entire process. So it's a funny thing because it's a path of trial and error. It's a roller coaster. You maybe think one thing today and tomorrow it changes, but you need to be able to move and ride the stuff. But yeah, it was more moving about passion, I guess.
And can you tell me a little bit about the transition? Like, because obviously when you started out, I'm thinking you were on your own, but then slowly you started to build a company. quite
Mhm.
a successful one, I would argue. So, how was that transition? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I started freelancing while I was working in the company. Of course, I won't leave, one the main income from myself. So I started doing some work. I think 2 3 years before I quit, and then I quit. I moved to another city, trying to reach out some new opportunities, and then I realized, okay, I'm a good doing some stuff, but I don't know how to sell it. So I need to get better. I trying to be able to my somehow my portfolio and my work sells by their own without any of my non skills in sales. So immediately, I think at the first year, I built somehow the operations team. That for me is the core of the business because I need support. I knew that I will need support in financials, in accounting, in law, with lawyers and stuff. And my company at the moment, I think from scratch, was an operations team, one artist. That was me. But I need to be sure all the numbers works. All the thing that I'm trying to build works in money wise, in financial wise. So I built a really strong team that helped me to not think about money, just focus in build a strong portfolio, strong relationships, and I think that allowed me to just focus in doing stuff, not thinking about money, but trusting in my team. So that's the first is a step that I did at you know many years ago.
Okay, can we please just talk about this step number one? You said operational team. So
Yeah,
you are the artist, and they are making sure that the business is running smoothly.
yeah. I don't want to be. I know that I need to be aware of taxes and invoicings and banks, but at that moment that distract me to be able to produce, to
Uh-huh.
sell,
Yeah.
to do the things that I was offering. So I built a team that support me at the moment. At that time was freelancers, accountants and stuff. Right now, we have a strong operations team in house that allow our production team to be just focused in creative. So somehow I scale that vision, and yeah, for me it's so important to be sure that all the admin stuff is okay. It's otherwise it will be a mess.
And how is the balance now today between the artists and the operation team?
We are now a team of 10 plus a lot of friends because I love to do collaboration with different teams around the globe. But our core team, we are three admin team.
Mhm.
We are team,
Yeah,
the admin team, and 7 artists, including myself.
yeah, yeah. Okay, perfect. And the artists, how do you? I mean, I will ask this last question, then you can continue about the steps of growing the. I don't want to interrupt that much. And the
Um,
artists, how do you structure the team? Do you have like two or three teams or one team, and you have like an art director in between, or how do you?
I
How,
started doing collaborations, doing collaboration with friends, with companies, colleagues in the same field.
Mhm,
I hired my first employee in 2017. I think that the first artist
mhm.
when I was completely burned out doing everything but my own. So I started hiring the first one. Then we scale up to 5 artists. Then the pandemic comes and it was a mess. So we ended 2020, no artists, just one, and the operations team.
Oh, again. Yeah, okay.
Again, started again, and since 2020, I started doing a strong collaboration with some friends, and those friends are now part of the team, the core team. They build their companies at some point. I invite them to Metrica to grow together, to be able to produce more stuff, more quality, add the the skills of everyone, the expertise of everybody, and right now they are the main part of the team. Then, as I grow the studio, as I grow the team, I need to assign some roles. Some of them appear or some way organic, and also the team start asking for some reorganization or restructure. Part
Mhm.
of that asking for the team, they want me be not involved in all the process. You're the direction, just not to be the micromanagement guy. So the
Yeah.
first role that appeared was the production leader, who is a really skilled architect and has a lot of experience in the field. Is
Mhm.
Daniel Diaz is the team leader in the technical aspect area. And the second role that started gain a lot of strength in the team is the project manager. The project manager is for us is the change that connects everybody, the production, the operations, clients, and even my thoughts, my craziness, and all the stuff. So it's the anchor for the team. It's our mom. I told her, it's Alejandra is our project manager, and she was an artist, a theater artist, and she embraced the process, embraced the team, and he started building helping me to build the protocols and structures and communications, and now he lead the team in the project management area. I think that's the path. And training the team, training. I think about our our industry or our field more as a craft, a dance between craft and technology and art. But I see myself more as a mentor. I love to teach my team. I love to train them. And I remember the first employee after the pandemic, the first uh, new artist that start working with me, start working aside, learning, shoulder by shoulder, how I think, how I do the stuff, why I made decisions, and now he's the team leader.
Mm,
And
yeah.
yeah, it's like to building together
Interesting
something
story.
that
Yeah.
is impossible to build a team. There is no path, there is no formula to build a team. For me, it has come organic.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. And now let's go back to Metrica. Where did you get the name?
Uh, Metrica, Metrica is a concept that appears in all the stuff that I love. You know, Metrica
Okay.
not as a measurement. Metrica is in music. The metrics appear in music. The metric appears in poetry. The metric appears in cinema, and that's something that our works is really. We are inspired by music. We are inspired by cinema. We are inspired by books. I don't know myself. We are very romantic with my company, with my team. So everything is connected. So that word or that concept, not the word, that the concept of the metrics or metrica in Spanish, is you know unify all our passions, and we are all completely different in our studio, but something that makes
Yeah.
us unique is our passion in what we do. So it's a simple concept,
Yeah.
but really strong for what drive our practice, that is passion and love for what we do.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Now let's go back to our main topic, which is Colombian marketing. Tell
Yeah,
us a bit
Colombia.
about it. You said you
Col-
started a little bit, then you moved to, you worked in the US. tell us a little bit about Colombian market. Is it growing? Is it declining? Is it tough? Is it easy? Do you have a lot of studios there?
Yeah, there is a lot. Actually, it is growing so fast since I started. The company, there is a lot of new studios. The market is changing. It's tough. We need to understand the currency is a mess here. Uh, it drops. It's super volatile. All days change, drops.
Yeah.
So it's hard to maintain that. Let's see. You can be rely only in the local market, especially when you grow. If you
Mm,
are an solo artist or one small team,
mm,
maybe you can get some good projects here. But also, I tried always. I'm a bit stubborn in my way to thinking some stuff, and there is a lot of developing here that they build super tiny apartments, concrete boxes, and it's copy paste projects, massive projects. And from the get go, I was completely against to work in those kind of projects. I knew that the only way to grow as an artist or as a communicator or as a visualizer, I need to be challenged in being in different positions in different situations. The only way is to be work is to work in a random, completely random projects. From housing, for vision projects, for concept projects, or even large scale real estate projects. But doing copy paste for me, it wasn't enough. It's something that I don't want it, and it comes with a lot of struggle at the beginning because that's the market here. You can mainly focus on that, and you can do or you can build a company here if you target that kind of projects. But those clients only look for price. They don't care about quality, and for me, it's completely against. I always trying to reach the best quality, the the best service, and somehow I wasn't pretty comfortable to working in those kind of projects. But at the beginning of my career, as I started working with, right now there are, I think, one of the best designers from Colombia. So being able to build my
mm,
company, they build their company, work together, build their portfolio. So I found that gap. I found the moment where the design was booming again, when some new architects start bringing some new ideas. Being in a different city, now I'm living in the Caribbean coast. I start working with some studios in Medellin, that is in the middle of the country, in the mountains, but super high end projects,
mm,
high profile mansions, and I found what I was looking outside in those kind of projects.
mm.
But again, it comes with more struggle because everybody wants to work in the same way, or build some kind of projects, or everybody wants uh, have metrica in their projects, but they can afford it. And again, I will have to refuse a lot of invitations because they couldn't reach what I was hired asking for the project. You know,
Yeah.
it's
That's
a roller coaster, man. You never be
yeah.
happy with it.
Yeah, it is like, I mean, it is maybe it is true for no businesses or even in life, but in this industry, it is very tough. It's very intense. It's
Mhm.
like you are playing a video game. You will never be satisfied because you always have a new monster and you need to kill it. Or maybe you need to have a new goal and you need to reach it. Or you need to move to a different level, and each level comes with its challenges. I don't know, conditions, market, AI, something. But yeah, I mean, it's really insightful. I mean, to be completely honest, I never thought about the Colombian market as a target. Uh, is it a true thing or am I wrong?
I can be 100% against of the local market because I built some great relationships with really great designers and firms, and they trust in our vision. They trust in
Mhm.
what we think, so I can be close to them. And
Mm.
funny thing in that aspect, uh, they fight to bring some projects where we can add value to the project. So I'm not the one who sell Metrica. My own clients wants to include us
Oh,
in their
nice.
portfolio, wants to put in the table. So that's why for me, from the beginning, the word of mouth was so
Yeah,
important. But as we grow, word of mouth is not enough to
yeah,
keep wheels spinning and a company growing. But this year has been crazy for me and the team because I think some projects that we have in the pipeline, we were invited for the architect to work with a developer, but
oh,
it
nice.
was actually was kind of a rule. Hey, we will work together, but we need metric on the team. So for us, it's like okay, they trust. And part of the journey, our journey, the most valuable asset for us is not our computers, it's not our softwares, it's not our library of models. It's our clients. Yeah, the
Yeah.
trust we have.
How long did it take you to feel like you had gained their trust and they, that they would just want to work with you?
I had the same question, by the way. It's okay.
Man, it varies. It's very variable. I have some. I'm working with a firm that I admire, and I'm really inspired by their work. But we don't work in the last 2 3 years. I don't know. And this year he came for us with 3 projects in a row. So that is meaningful for me because there is a quote. It's easier than a client become a friend than a friend becomes your client. And it's exactly what happened to me because even though I don't work with them, 3 years, 2 years ago, we keep in contact. How are you? How are your projects? What are you doing? We are in this, we're in that. Hey, I have a break to be able to work. Or that sense, the first time that I work in a collaboration with a big studio, my first commission as an artist received that wow factor, and I immediately gained or reached that moment that okay, this guy is good, and I started working with this kind of studios since 2017, and now we keep working with them not as a freelancer, as a team. So it's trust, it has been changing during the time, but yeah, I think I always try to hit the target at the first time.
Let me ask you then another question. What are some of the values that you think you managed to instill in your team so that they could help you building this vision?
The first thing is consistency. I think consistency not only in the final result. Is not only consistency. You feel it in the service. Consistency. You feel in how the process, how smooth or organized is the process, uh, and how all our team is aligned in build something that it will be meaningful for their relationship. So yeah, the idea of have cool images or nice animations, it doesn't care if the process is a mess. Yeah, so be aligned is important from the operation director, the artist, the project manager, and everybody needs to be aligned because we need to speak the same language. You know, we need to speak the same words and the same mood. So even though if I'm sending you an invoice, it's the same language that I'm sending you a revision document. So it's that feeling that I is for me is one of our values, you know, and it's the
So
core.
consistency, all
Yeah, it's we
consistency
are
in everything. Yeah,
yeah, structures, you know, uh, protocols. We need to build that. You know, we need to be have a structure to be consistent in the quality, but all the other stuff you need to build it together in how Metrica speaks to our clients, how Metrica speaks to our vendors, to our collaborators, to our friends. Uh, so yeah, it's that part of
I
our
think I think
approach.
this all comes from your mindset because I mean, look, you were working in design as an employee, and you moved to be a business owner.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if you didn't have the mindset of a business owner while you were an employee, I think this wouldn't really happen because, like, to answer from what you said, Juan, to answer Fabio's question, how long did it take you to get to this level where clients are trusting you? This is the first time you feel this. It was like in 2 years. 15 you started, 17 you got this big client. So yeah, I mean,
Is I mentioned to you, I think in our one of our meetings, I always try to be more sniper than hitting the market with a bazooka. I always try to, okay, what this guy like for my work, what this guy like for our workflow, and try to keep building that moment. So the wow moment, okay, what was that the wow moment in the process? It was the final images, or was to feel
yeah,
involved in the process. Is this guy here? Does this guy understand? You know,
yeah, that's true. I mean, each one has a different, I would say, sweet spot. So I remember, like in the last year's mastermind, we had last year Roding on the show, and he said what he would like to do, he would like to do the changes with the client in the same meeting, so that the client will feel like they are a part of the process. So it
exactly.
doesn't really matter if the client, if the end image is top tier image or it's maybe a normal image, because the client is one of the client made the image with you. So
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
one
yeah.
type of clients. Yeah.
We as a team, we do a lot of workshops with clients. We prefer to have a 10-minute call, 30-minute call to review everything, than wait 1 week, 2 weeks for red lines and comments. So we can tackle, we can discuss, we can argue, we can fight in a workshop, but we can express the vision and
Yeah.
their vision and fight the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really nice. So basically, you don't send the work to be reviewed and get the comments. You meet the client in the same meeting. This is the work, and inside this meeting, I think you get the aha moment, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Somehow it works. There are clients that they are more used to documents that it's okay to do it. But one of the things I, we are flexible in that kind of ways to work because that's part of our values too. You
yeah.
know, all the clients are different. Working with marketing is different. Working with the designer is different. Working with the investor is different. Yeah, so we need to behave in the same way. So yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So now a question regarding Colombian market. I'm sure it's not similar to my previous life while I was in Syria. Like in Syria, I came to a conclusion after a while that in case I am going to increase my price above this limit, I will never find a client here. See, I was
Yeah.
wrong because there was like a level of clients who are like top tier clients, and but like the entry point there was very tough. And the easiest way for me was to go outside of Syria and contacting people in the Gulf area, like Dubai, Qatar, Saudi, and Kuwait. So is it the same thing with you? I mean, are you active in your own market now, or are you working with international market?
I changed the presence. I think the 99% right now is outside.
Okay.
Maybe 1%, or let's see, the 10% is local. But yes, as you said, as you mentioned, it is the entry point here is way low. That
Yeah, yeah.
you once you establish a really structured budget and workflows and cost and pricing and stuff, it's hard to maintain because
Mm.
you need to do a lot of stuff to reach your your, your rate. So I still working with in projects here, but as I mentioned, with people that trust in our vision and they want to invest and they know that even though they can find way low rates here, they understand the value we can bring to the projects, and is again is trust. You know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And if you will talk about today about your services, could you please explain the services, what you do? Um, it,
Yeah, our core is a image production. You know, we also work in the animation for properties, luxury properties, and real estate. But I think the difference is what it takes to build an image.
yeah.
You know, sometimes the projects or our clients trust in our taste, our expertise, our experience to fill some blank spaces in their projects, like styling, like landscaping, or even some projects that they have no more than a brief with some references, no cut drawings, no proper design. So yeah, we can produce some images, but what we need to produce those images, we are also able to put it into a table. So art
Mm.
direction, design assistance, styling, or even model production is part of our services. Architectural photography, uh, because we found sometimes we need a good photo to be able to produce a good image. And it's really common in this in Colombia, though, that I know a photographer, I have a cousin, I have a brother who has a drone. So we partnership with companies with architectural photographers, well known, and bring them to our project to add more value in our service. So
I thought you were about to say we partner with cousins.
exactly.
But actually, I do know a little detail about your company, which is you do like to work with close people, right?
Yeah, yeah. I love to work with close people because it's the best way to find what we offer, that is trust. I can trust in my people and I trust in my friends. And it's funny because as an entrepreneur, it's the first thing that all the manuals say: don't work with friends, don't work with your wife, don't work with blah blah blah. But my operation manager is my wife, so he is the one to take care about the money and I take care about everything. And my team, they are my friends. They are my friends. Before we worked together, we were friends. So yeah, as I mentioned, building a team, building a company, is there is no manual, there is no structure. It only happens, and you need to do your best to try to keep the things going. But yeah, our services, if I need to bring partnership, I do a lot of partnership with video production companies because I need some color grading, I need some editing. I don't gonna hire artists or technical for that, so I prefer to partnership with local companies. In that way, I can bring some of the projects that I'm working outside of Colombia to them, so they can learn, and we build a workflow that I can offer lately or in the project. So yeah, that's
Let me
it.
tell you, you're smart, because usually, every guy, the wife anyway gets the money. You are like, okay, now you get the money and a company to manage.
Exactly. He managed the house, he managed the company, she's aware of everything, so I don't I need to take care about anything because she knows how everything is okay. But
Does
it's a
she pay?
nightmare sometimes with the bank, with the cash flow. But yeah, it's part of the journey, I guess. So yeah,
Does he take a salary?
everybody has
I
everybody
would have
has
said,
that.
because like once, I don't know, I was talking to a guy. We were making the portfolio,
No
and
man.
overnight I got like 100 comments on the portfolio in the document, and I told him, "Hey, look, we met just yesterday. Okay, why did you have time to make 100 comments?" And he said,
No.
"Hey, sorry, this is my wife." And I told him, "I mean, what does
No.
your wife have to do with all of this?" And he said, "Yeah, she's managing my business, but just between us, she's not paid." And I said,
No.
"Why she's doing
You,
this?"
I think what the first
We shouldn't show
lessons
this
when that
video then, Anis. We shouldn't show this video.
is
Now we
crazy.
go to the wife of your friend that doesn't get a
Imagine.
salary, to the wife of Juan who gets her salary and his salary.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the truth. Exactly. No, but man, I think one of the first lessons or advice that I received when I was starting this, you you have to have your own salary, whatever it takes. You need to have a salary that allow you to track your numbers. You need to do your math from the beginning. Otherwise, it will possible to build something. And you have two friends, completely important friends: the accountant and your lawyer. That's important. It's really, really
Sorry,
important.
accountant
And lawyer, you need
and lawyer. Yeah,
to and lawyer. You need to be aware of your contracts, be aware of copyright, be aware of you are doing the stuff in the right way. And in operations for me, someone who manage and guides you. And if we need to ask for support in finances, we have advisors, and we build a team just to decision making. And because the I can be anything can be centralized on me. I need advice in production. I need advice in sales. I need advice in operations. And I think that's why we are here because I ask you for advice in other stuff so many times. Uh, so yeah.
cool, cool. I mean, that's really great. I mean, having a lawyer definitely something. And to be honest, I wasn't aware of for a long time. And the first time I hired a lawyer, it was on Fiverr. Imagine on Fiverr. And somehow this lawyer was really great. See, I really never imagined that he is going to be great. And I, until today, I recommend this lawyer to any of my clients or any of my friends. I'll say, look, go to this guy. If he doesn't know how to do it, he will lead you to someone. And this guy is brutally honest, direct. Look, you have this, that. Those are your responsibilities. This is what you can get. That's it. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think that my early investments no was a lawyer. Okay, help me to build my contracts, help me to build my NDAs, help me to build my commercials and terms and conditions.
mm,
That's really important for me to the foundations of what I'm offering. What I'm offering
definitely.
need to be supported in all the stuff, and I did it early, early in the process.
There is something really insightful I learned from you now here. Um, my dream was always to have something called a studio in a box. Doesn't mean that put them in a box. It means like you have a box where you can get everything whenever you need it. For example, you need to make marketing, you know how to get it. You need to make branding, you know how to get it. Sales, yes. Content, whatever it is.
Mm.
And in terms of or like law stuff. I have some sort of like, for example, terms of and conditions, revision policy. We shared it today. What is called digital asset license. We also shared it today. If you go to the platform, you'll find it.
Yeah.
And those things they came from a lawyer, the same guy I told you about. But I never really thought about putting all the legal stuff in focus. You see, all in one package. Because I'm not the one who can provide it. Definitely, I need to outsource it.
No, and
However,
our field is so young that we need to bring stuff from photographers. We need to bring stuff from developers. UI UX designers. We need to bring some stuff from architecture. It's a mixture of
yeah,
different stuff. So yeah, that's
yeah,
why we need
definitely. It's like,
we need help. We need help to build that kind of assets.
yeah, maybe Fabio, this is something also for us for future workshops.
Yeah,
Having at least like an outline about the important documents you need to keep for every project or for every
copyrights,
type
man.
of.
Copyrights is an entire world that anybody is talking about that,
Yeah, yeah,
and there's a lot of issues. There is a lot of uh, misconception about
yeah,
copyrights, but it's
But
definitely.
I,
We
I
have a
find that especially younger generations, and this is not a criticism, but especially the younger generations, they don't perceive the ownership of IP um, like we do, and that's because they've been brought up in a completely
massive
digital
communication environment. Yeah,
society. So the communication and the exchange of information, it's a lot looser for them. But what people essentially need to learn about copyright and the usage of an image is, and this was explained to me by a lawyer who said, look, it's very simple. An image, it's like a slice of pizza. You buy it, you eat it, and it has its function, it's gone. If you want to eat another slice, you gotta buy another slice. And so when we give out our images to an architect, and then that architect pass them over to the marketing department, that image was done for the job of the architect. Now it has been reused and you're not getting paid for it. Now, in an environment, a business environment as competitive as ours, you're basically losing money on the table. And the reason we're doing this, it's simply educated on the topic. Because if people stop doing that, and there was a clear understanding of image copyright, which, for instance, God knows why, but photographers understand this very well.
yeah,
They
yeah, yeah.
understand a lot
License,
more than we
licensing.
do.
Exactly. Yeah, it's actually it's something that happens to me in that moment with the design boom here in Colombia, because a lot of projects were built in this collaborative way where the developers, the architects, the designers, everybody works together to build a project, and the developer hired us for producing marketing assets for selling the project. But then you start seeing your images in the architectural portfolio, designer portfolio, even the jacuzzi company. So for me, it was like, oh, come on, this is not the way. So in the really beginning, I tried to assume the role to, okay, I need to educate my clients. I need to educate the environment. Colombia is a good market, good design. We are building a brand, a Colombian branded design. But right now, I prefer to work with some clients that they already know how stuff is. So it gives away a lot of effort and struggle. But
yeah,
yeah, Colombia is a growing market right now. Not only the main cities are growing, also, you know different secondary cities that are growing, investing. They are also trying to replicate what happened in Medellin, that they brand the city with good design, very well built projects, bringing some cool brands. So it started happening in different cities. So there is opportunity, but you need to be aware what it takes to do what you do. So do your maths, understand the business, understand the change of what you are offering. Where are you in that change? Understand what they um, gain, with your work is important. It's math. I think at the end of the day, it's knowing math. It's knowing
Absolutely.
numbers. Yeah.
We have a comment from,
Juan, I have a question.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
yeah, let's
Go ahead.
read the comment and we can get to Fabio's question. So Fernando Albert said, try sending a bandeja paisa to your
Bande-
local client.
bandeja, bandeja paisa is a dish, a traditional dish here
Uh,
in the mountains regions where
yeah,
I was used to work with clients. And that's yes, yes,
yeah.
yes.
It looks like he
Go
was
ahead.
there somehow. Hi, Albert. Yeah, please, Fabio.
So, Juan, what is your day to day now that you manage the company and you're doing all the things related to the business development? Um, I have quite a few questions, but basically, I'm gonna throw them all at you, and then you can talk about this. Basically, I want to know your transition from being an artist to being a business person running a business.
Mhm.
I want to understand a little bit your day to day. And also, do you ever get the chance to have some free time when you don't think about work? Because, owning your own company and having to travel a lot for work, I guess that you get very little time for yourself, huh?
Uh, the transition started training myself in my skills, training myself in understand what it takes to be able to compete outside. Then build a team and teach them what you learn and try to build consistency to produce at the same quality, the same vision, the same stuff. Once I reached that, uh, I moved, forced by my team, away of the production, you know, more in the direction, more in guide them, not be micromanagement. I completely know that they are must be laughing because they asked me many times, please let us work, trust in us. So delegate is the first step, and know how to delegate is the hardest stuff you ever find because it's about trust. It's about leave your control, leave your waiting to them and trust them. Sometimes we'll get good results, sometimes not. But it's part of the journey. Trial and error. Once again, learning. If you did a mistake, you learn and move on. And when I find myself away of the production with some time, I start asking, and what happened if we start learning about sales? What happened if I start learning about marketing? What happened if I start investing in branding? What happened if I start learning other stuff? So once I move out of the 100% focus in the production, I start building what we are right now is in a process to build a sales structure, marketing, pipelines or the structure because what happened is Metrica as it was before we built this new team. So before 2020 or 2022, um, we are super underground. We are right now super underground. We don't want to stand out too much. We know we can reach some projects, but it has been changing during the time. Now we are investing in branding, we are investing in relationships, we are investing in how we communicate all the stuff. So hopefully this year, because it doesn't happen immediately, we have this year the investment wasn't in computers and software, was in sales process, marketing, communication, and strategy. So my days are now in between revisions with the team, some talks with them, just to have the highlight or the overview of the process, train myself in how to uh, delegate more efficiently, uh, but more focusing, knocking some doors, looking for some prospects. And I want to work with this company. I need to reach out to them. How is the right strategy? Is emailing? Is call her? Is knock the door? So it's more about now in strategy. I guess those are my days. And try to build a company that allow everybody to grow in their path. So if you want to become a project manager, I need to bring the opportunities for you to grow. If you want to become a better artist, I need to feed the company with cool projects that allow us to grow in that way. And if we keep working in this space with passion, we need to bring some projects that allow us to that. So my role now is being in that position, reaching out cool projects, reaching out people, and talking with Fabio and Anis, and it's that part of
I think it's very important. I think it's very important what you're saying right now, because I do think that quite a few people that choose the path of independence, so to say, they do it in a way that only benefits themselves. Now, we're not here to judge why people do certain things, but in the nature of a business, the stuff that you said is a lot more important for the business than the money that it's coming in. Because if you do this for the independence and you're looking after yourself alone, you're not really generating value or a value proposition. When you do it to build something, because you have a vision, because you have a goal that goes beyond earning your independence, money and time wise, then you're really building something. And I do think that it takes a lot of maturity to start a business because of having a vision and because of thinking, I can do something better. A lot of people, they just do it because they want to have their own independence, they want to have their own money, which again, they're very valid
Mhm.
reasons, but in the long run, they're not reasons that they help you staying in business, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And
For me,
this is not me
Metrica.
trying to sound like an old person.
No,
This
come
is not
on.
me trying to sound like an old person. It's just that
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Metrica is for me is an organism that need to breathe, that need to be fitted, and that need to grow. And it's not only about the images, it's not only about the final result. It's about people, it's about clients. There are people too, with feelings, with expectations, and also the team. So understanding that and trust in that mindset, I guess, is that for me have been the best way to build a team. Right now, I'm able to, see my baby grow every day, being present, and I know my team is doing the right in the right way or the same way by their own. They can have this space, the time for themselves. It's it's impossible to not be in a rush. Projects are projects. It happens a lot of the time, but being able to stand out and okay, this is not the kind of project we want to be part of because it hurt us as a team. It hurt us. They understand that and put the team first is a different approach, and for me it's important. But again, it's not easy because you need to keep invoicing and growing. Money wise, you need to work. But we can dance between all those different scenarios.
Absolutely. Running a company in the team in the front is a different mindset, definitely.
Yeah,
Um,
it's funny. Last year, we were invited for do some tax in Costa Rica, and my first slide in the presentation wasn't portfolio, it was the team, and I kept it as a part of my strategy. This is who we are. This is the team. For
yeah,
me, it's important to even though
yeah,
I don't like to be in the spotlight, my team is, and they are really good and really, really talented artists and really good people. And man, everything what we have done so far is not only my
so
responsibility.
well,
Is everybody
in this
making something.
conversation, sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that this conversation is really great. I remember like once we saw the portfolio, you had this beautiful image of the team. Also, how
Yeah.
you take the picture of the team is not typical. I mean, it looks like a team.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the updates about the portfolio
Yeah. Soon. We are
soon.
working on that.
So,
It's coming soon. We
so
have been working in some new strategies because, yeah, Metrica at the beginning was so quiet as branding, as graphics, in graphic design. In terms of graphics, we are so quiet now. The new strategy somehow stands out a little bit. It's like put the hand in the table. Here we are. This is what we do, and
yeah,
it's not
great,
only
great.
it's not only one doing the stuff. We are Metrica,
Mm,
so it's a team of really talented artists working together.
perfect, perfect. If you would give advice to
Yeah,
a solo artist that is looking to grow, I want your advice in these areas. What are the signs that you see that you know that now I need to grow? I need to hire the first guy, the first artist. This is one. Two, what type of mindset you should have? I think you already said it, but like it would be great if you maybe reframe it in a way of it is like an advice for someone who is a solo would like to grow.
yeah. Uh, in my own story, I decided when I was completely burned out, doing everything by my own, working 24 hours, 7 days per week. At that moment, I decided to hire one. But now being in a different position, it comes from where you want to be, where you want to be in a year, 2 years, 5 years, and what you will need to achieve it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Okay.
completely trust in the power of collaborative work and sharing stuff and how everybody adds. If you want to grow, look what it takes to be there, and and definitely if you need to be a team, a supporting team, it's something that you should do. You don't want to hire, you can invite people to collaborate with you. That's the strategy.
Amazing. Amazing. Fabio, do you have any other questions for Juan?
I do not. I just realized that we are past the hour. This went so
Okay.
fast.
It is like
It went super
so
fast.
quick. Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for your time, for sharing all these insights. I would
Thank you.
say that knowing you, then knowing who is behind Metrica, somehow
Definitely.
more details. It gave you really more insights. And also, as I told you today, it is a good, I would say, advice or insights from your side to talk more about the legal stuff, or at least spot the light on that stuff and provide people in a better frameworks, or at least like this is the package, this is what you need, this is a starting point, but you do need a legal advice or a lawyer to help
Yeah,
with that.
I
Yeah,
think that the most important, you know, an advice is knock doors, reach out to people, connect with artists or entrepreneurs or people that inspire you, because that's the only way to learn. Ask
absolutely.
for advising. I think that's the way that Fabio and I we met, asking for advice, asking for amen. I happen this is happening to me. What do you think? And here we are, 4 years. So it's important. Knock some doors. Ask. Our industry is so close that it hurts, especially in Latin America, especially in Colombia. Everybody is fighting again, competing. But man, if we that doesn't speak each other, we doesn't meet each other, if we, it's impossible to be aligned in what we can do as an industry or as a region.
Definitely, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. It is very close, to be honest. I don't know. Once I said, "Hey guys, we made a free group for us to meet and share about the industry because our industry is closed and we don't know a lot about the pricing, about strategy to clients somehow."
No,
And they get
it's like
some guys saying, "No, industry is very open. Everyone's sharing." Well, yes, everyone is sharing how to make an image, but not how to sell the image.
no, no. Now is, I think, the most important thing is to be connected, to get and meet each other and see what we can do as a collective. You know, uh, Latin America is so big. We're a lot around all the world, so you can find Colombian people in every country. So why fight or compete with each other? Is I
Absolutely,
don't know. It's not the way I think to build something.
absolutely. Amazing. Juan, thank you again very much. It was a great conversation. Um,
Thank you.
we are going to see you again, I think, on Friday, right?
Yeah,
Let's.
hopefully, hopefully,
Um,
hopefully.
we thank you everyone for watching. If you have any questions, leave in the comment. If you have any questions to Juan, you can connect with him on LinkedIn, I think, and he's also active on Instagram.
Knock the
Um,
door.
exactly. Do what he asked you to do. I mean, network, get in touch, and increase your friend circle somehow from the industry. We will see you next week in a live stream talking about branding in our industry. That is somehow, I would say, personal branding in our industry. And another topic, which is we released a book called The Archviz Treasure Map. It has
Yeah,
like 10 steps to get to clients. And the way how the book is written is that finding a client is like finding a treasure. And you need to go through to find the treasure, you need a map. Without the map, you cannot find the treasure. And the map has multiple like stop points or stages or maybe steps. We wrote these steps step by step, and anyone who's interested, you can click the link in the comments. Fabio also, you can contact Fabio or me, and we will provide you with the book. It's completely for free. It is disclaimer. It's like 108 pages. Now it will increase in the future, but like you will get 10 emails after you get the book. Each email talking about one step, so that over time you get to know what are the steps, how to deal with them. Thank you, everyone. See you next week. Thank you,
thank
Juan,
you.
again. Thank you, Fabio.
Take
Goodbye,
care,
everyone.
guys. Bye
Thank
bye.
you so
Take
much,
care.
Luis, for hosting this, and thank you, Juan, for taking the time. Don't leave so that we can say goodbye, okay?
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Okay.